I'm going to present to you a snapshot of what is going on in the Danish drinking, maybe more the groundwater is actually more. So I'm not, I think that all these conferences and gatherings we are attending, it shows that we have a lot of knowledge. There's a lot of talk, there's a lot of analysis, there's a lot of we should do something about it. Interesting. And when you go home today, you'll probably say, oh, this is very interesting. It was an interesting conference. But we would so much like to have some action. We have a lot of knowledge that we already can act on. And that is what we need in the water sector and all other sectors for that matter as well in this one. So I'll just start with this one. Magnus Heunicke, our Minister of Environment, harmful substances threatens our drinking water. We cannot accept that. We accounted for 28.2% of the total load. We banned them. So that's action. For once, maybe. Wow. I have the microphone. Yeah. But 6 substances, 33 products, 28.2% of the load of pesticides. The 6, I wouldn't even try to pronounce it, but swift action. Yes, thank you. So this is all about, if we want to reduce this impact, the chemical impact we have on the society with all we do, you look around, there's so much chemistry. It's not just the TFA, it's not just the pesticides, it's everywhere. Even in the wine, we were talking about very old port. Maybe we could drink that instead. But it's indisputable. It's everywhere. It's also in the water. We have some fingerprints. We put them out in all of society. It's in the water. It's in the food. We brought them on ourselves. We made these substances to solve a problem, but we created another one. So that's very human to, okay, let's solve a problem. And there were substances we didn't know could be used for something else, but they solved the problem. The PFAS has solved the problem with the ozone layer. You remember the ozone layer, right? We don't talk about that anymore. They solved the problem, but they created another one. And the whole root of the problem is that, as the previous speakers are also saying, that there's a lot of things we don't know when approving these substances, a lot of things that we don't know when we look at, maybe we think let's trial and error here, but there's an impact. And before I go on, I'll just introduce you briefly. I know a lot of you know the Danish water supply, but just see, we're 2,700 approximately public water supplies, 9,100 approximately wells, 392 million cubic meter of abstracted water. I know for some of you who are from other countries, this must sound like a water living lab, but it's Danish. 6 million people, more than 50% of all wells affected by pesticides. And and 50% of analyzed wells affected by TFA. And that's not 50% of the 9,100 wells, it's 50% of the ones analyzed. We do not have, maybe from the last change of the drinking water regulation, and it's just new, so I don't know it yet, but we don't have legislation that says we have to analyze the wells. Only if there's a problem with the drinking water, we go back and analyze the wells for the TFA. So that's why there's not so many analyzed yet. But Denmark as a country, 60% approximately, it's going down a bit, of the country is farmland. And we approximately need 5% of the country to groundwater protection. 99.9% groundwater based. There's a small island east of Bornholm that is desalination, but approximately 100. And as a rule, a main rule in the treatment is that it's aeration and filtration, time and space, and that is changing. I know some of you has a bit more complex day, but that's changing. The other one is just to show that the orange is from water abstracted for water supply, approximately 400,000 million cubic meters. But then we have farming and agriculture and hvad hedder gardener? Horticulture, yes, in the blue one down there, and there's fishing and artificial agriculture. Thank you. Yes. But that's not so much different, right? So the water is also in all of the sectors, also the agricultural sector that we say that we need to do this, we need to change something. But you also need the water. So we're in this together. We need to be solved in partnership. It doesn't. So as you can see here, all is well in the Danish drinking water wells. We're in control. That was true. We told each other that in 2017. More pesticides and metabolites were discovered. Then came PFAS. Then came TFA. And then my hair turned this color. And now they're combined because the term PFAS pesticides, that's basically our biggest fears coming together here. One is that TFA is classified as a P, and that's because in the regulation, if something is classified as a PFAS, the limit is low. It's not health derived. It's 0.1 something. And we know from the measurements we made that 0.1 something is very, very hard to reach. You showed it. It's TFA is all over. It's widely spread. So we would love that to be just a health derived limit. And since the sources are so diverse, it's not only, sorry to say, not just coming from pesticides, but of course that's something we can do locally. And so we're very happy about that ban. Then we have the persistent mobile toxic substances. And then we have the very persistent, very mobile, very toxic, as if the first one wasn't bad enough, then we have another one we add. So what's going on? We're talking about health. We're talking about people are buying all sorts of gadgets to live longer and more healthier, and we eat various stuff. But these substances, go ahead. You can buy any place for horticulture. You come and you buy your plants, and you can buy some. That's very persistent, but very mobile and very toxic substance. Exceed the limits eventually without any action. And that doesn't really matter what we set the limits as. The lower they are, the faster we will exceed the limits. It's widely spread. These are all statements from the Euro Association's publication on PFAS and TFA. And it has a compilation of data from maybe 26 countries all over Europe. But we must keep in mind that we measure less than 1% of PFAS through the targeted analysis that we carry on. We have a 99% miss rate. The intake through food is exceeding the recommended levels from EFSA. TFA in rainwater has increased fivefold over the past 20 years in Germany. It's the same in all of Europe. If we continue the use of PFAS without doing anything, the drinking water sector will face increase of 18 billion euros in treatment costs. And to top that, we can do it. It's very expensive. It's like the quote from this film that you can live on this, but it tastes like shit. You can do it, but it's very expensive. But it will also require 20% more abstracted water. We don't have that. We don't have that, not even in Denmark, even not with the rain. We don't have that around Copenhagen, the biggest cities. We don't have that. So it's very energy intensive. We also have some waste that we don't we cannot dispose of, and none of these solutions destroy the PFAS molecules. Also, the water after undergoing treatment is demineralized to an extent that you need to remineralize to meet drinking water standards. Not a very sustainable green transition solution here. So these are just statements. Now we're showing this is analysis from the Danish geological database. We just presented on maps. These are all wells because we have more than the publicly water wells. We also have more wells than using for drinking water. This is just to show all the red ones are exceeding the limit. So it tells us that the problem is not so big today as it could be, but this also tells us that some of the wells have been closed. Some of the ones are used for investigating pollution sites. So this is the actual widely spread chemicals here. This is the same just for water supply, and you can see there are some exceeds the limits, but also the green ones are good, and the blue ones has never had any pesticides detected. So the picture is a little bit different, but it's still, if you compare it, it's out there, unquestionable. Yeah, I'm told 3 minutes, but I have the mic, so yeah. What will you do? These are the PFAS findings. These are the PFAS findings. These are all the wells, also some closed down, also some for contaminated sites. All of this, I'm pointing at. Can I point down here? No pointing, apparently. So, but all the wells from the geological database on PFAS findings, the limit is 0.1 micrograms, and above the 0.1, they're red. These are also old wells, and also contaminated sites, so it's not all the way through for drinking water, but these are all water supply only. And you can see, and that's a bit, I don't know if funny is the right word, but interesting maybe. We have hotspots around Copenhagen, and we have hotspots around Esbjerg, a very, very small island family. This is Denmark's smallest and biggest member. And then we have some contaminated sites drizzled over Denmark. But these are the 0.1 micrograms. This is what's going on. The more knowledge we gain on these, the lower the limits. And it's been going from 2006, where we started to investigate further. And then in 2022, we had the Netherlands and the Danish limits as the lowest ones you have in the European. But we don't think that this will stop. The more we know, the lower the limits for drinking water. This is from the Netherlands. It also shows that the PFAS is in everything. It's been told before today. This with the lines in is the drinking water contribution to the diet, the PFAS diet, so to speak. And if you see the lowest one, that's from surface water, drinking water from surface water, and this one up top is from drinking water from groundwater. So 6% of the diet is drinking water, and so it's 6% of the PFAS. But if you're in a country that has surface water for drinking water, you have 27% contribution from drinking water. So a regulation in drinking water, it helps, but it doesn't solve anything. We need to have some control at source here. This is an illustration that shows that if we continue without doing anything, the problem will increase. So nothing new there. If we do something, the problem will decrease. So that's so. Now this is an illustration from before Greater Copenhagen utility, one of the well fields, and it shows that the interesting is hvad hedder den, this table out here. Yeah, yes. And if you can see the TFA concentrations, and these are the wells out on the left, and on the right there's TFA concentrations, that you can see that the youngest groundwater has the highest TFA concentration. It's already been shown, but we see it every day when we measure young water, high content of TFA, and that's from rainwater. So even if we regulate everything else locally, we still have at least a European challenge on this. So we need help. And it's not, this is an illustration of the hotspots, TFA hotspots all through Europe. And it shows that we're not alone in this. This is over here is from Denmark. It shows the TFA findings, and that as you can see, there are no problems, but that's because our limit is 9 micrograms per liter. So we don't think that will keep on. It's everywhere. This is from, just to illustrate that it's widely spread. This is from Insa Drikkevand. It's a cooperation between how many? 9 of the big utilities in Denmark. As a total of 1/3 of the water that is distributed in Denmark is illustrated here. As you can see, that this one here shows that the affected water is about how many percentage? 90% of the water is affected by of PFAS or pesticides and metabolites. The green ones don't have anything. The lucky ones, I don't know which utility that is, but as you see, all the rest of them, it's very yellow, and that's because there's a problem. You have effects, and for some, it's about 100% of the water that they're distributing is affected. So that's not a picture we want to do. We're talking about what is clean water. Clean water is water that meets the limits, or clean water is something that's not affected. We can't have water that's not affected. It's not possible the way things is. And the sources are many, and the treatment possibilities are very, very limited. On the shorter the molecules, the harder to remediate. So what do you want? We want love. Everyone wants love. Food and a break in a minute. And then we want to have action is very imminent in this point. And as you can see, I want to thank all these. This presentation is not mine. I was just the one talking. I have been around and having help from Bo Lindhardt from Novafos, Liselotte from HOFOR, Oliver Løbel from Euro. I should say hello to from him, and Hans Peter Arp from a Norwegian scientist. And also, of course, we have the data from the Geological Survey in Denmark. So action, please. Cooperation, maybe not cooperation, but partnerships. We can't solve this alone. Thank you.
Thank you very much for this very factual presentation. We're short on time, but we have time for just one question, and I see a hand there in the back. And please present yourself and short questions, please.
It's Christine Klien. I'm from the as political advisor. Thank you for your presentation. I think this is so scary, and just as scary as the slide you showed with the Halloween light and the bats. I want to ask you, with what we know now about pesticides being the source of TFA in groundwater, and the levels of TFA in the upper groundwater, do you think it's inevitable now that we will look into a future where we have to, to clean water, to rinse the water, to be able to use it as drinking water, but we still have enough clean water to kind of for two things out of the question? of the problem.
Yes, for some, treatment is necessary. But as I already stated, the TFA, and by the way, the source is not only pesticides. That's a part of the source, but not limited to. The main source, we believe, still is the fluoridated gases from the air conditioner, heat pump, and all of that stuff. There's a lot of them going around. So that's the rainwater contribution. And then, of course, you have local hotspots from the pesticides. About treatment, I believe that treatment will be necessary for some, but that depends on go forth and act. That will help. And it will also help that in the EU system that we also act there, because I know that the PFAS total ban was one of the ones that had about 5,000 people stating that the PFAS they were producing using were essential to health, to medicine, to whatever. But maybe we think of it as a water sector, we think it's only essential for your income. And that's not good enough. So I think we have to be able to treat, so we need to innovate in the treatment methods, and we also have to be able to use the thinning out of the problem, because there are a lot of elements in this, and drinking water is only one of them. So I would rather drink the water than the orange juice. And let's just keep that in mind. Thank you.